Okay. Then we're going to paint another hill, maybe a slightly different green. So I'm going to take some of this really bright green here. I'm going to mix it in. All right, and then I'm going to make another hill right over here. Okay, then I'm going to start on my last two hills. Getting some of this yellow and mixing it in here. To make a darker olive. Okay. So draw that next hill there. And this last hill, I'm going to try to make it a little bit more yellow. So I'm going to take that yellow and it's actually going to be more of a brown, but there we go. And if you want to make it a little more interesting, you can make some of these hills different sizes like I did. So this one's kind of skinny and long, this one's really wide and shorter, this one's kind of medium, this one's again longer. Okay, so we've got our background there. I'm going to clean my brush and let's fill in some of those areas that we didn't get the sky all the way through. So I have my blue here again, and I'm going to simply get my brush wet and then fill in the sky where I didn't get it all the way through before. I'm going to get my brush more wet because I want it to be kind of a more natural stroke. Okay, my brush is a little bit green, so I'm going to get some more of this blue and I'm going to fill it in there. Okay, so there we go. Now let's try to finish up our painting. We've got almost half of our painting already done so far. Then I'm gonna start off by maybe doing some sort of lake or pond. So again, I'm gonna use this blue color, but I think I'm gonna want it to be a little bit darker this time. So I'm gonna get a little bit of a darker blue in here. I'll probably just use this one. And I'm going to put just a little bit of that blue right over there. And I'm going to mix it in here. All right. So there is our pond blue. And I'm going to just sketch out a pond. And you can do any sort of shape you want. I'm going to have mine sort of look like this. I'm going to fill it in. Okay. So there's my pond. And it's actually going to maybe come around this way and turn into a little stream. So I'm going to get some more of that color there. Probably need to make a little bit more actually. So I'm going to get a little bit of this and mix it in. And I'm going to make my brush more wet. I'm going to draw a stream, which is going to come around sort of this way and leading up to the pond there. And the stream can sort of be fatter on some areas and thinner on some areas because it's sort of a natural form or shape. We're going to blend it into the pond again, so we're just going to go over that one more time. And there that is. Okay. Then we're going to need a house somewhere. So maybe a few houses. So I'm going to do one in the background really quickly. And for the house, what color do I want it to be? I think I want it to be sort of like a reddish brown. So I'm going to get some red here. Well, actually, you know what? I already have something over here. So I'm going to get this paint wet again, and then I'm going to get some brown in the mix. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And I'm going to make a little house, maybe back here. I'm going to clean my brush a little bit because there's some loose hairs on there. Okay, then I can just sketch out a little house with my brush. Doing the roof. The other side of the roof. Okay, So there's my house, and maybe it has a little bit of another part to it, so maybe sort of like a shed in the background. So I'm going to repeat that shape one more time. Okay, so there's my house. Maybe add a window or something. There we go. Maybe add a door in the front. All right, that looks great. Okay, then what else am I going to add here? I'm probably going to add some more trees eventually, but let's focus on one thing at a time. I'm going to add another house somewhere over here in front of the pond. So I'm going to clean my brush and let me think what color I want this house to be. Maybe I want it to be like a really light pink or something like that. So I'm going to add some pink here. Oops. And I'm going to add some white. And just add a little bit of the pink to the white. Okay, we're going to need to make more of that. So I'm going to grab more of this white. Oops. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to try to add a house right over here. And it's in the foreground, so it's a little bit bigger than the last house we did. And I'm going to sort of just make it the same shape as the last house. You can make your house into any shape. Okay. Okay, so there's my house. I'm going to make it a little bit darker or a little bit more saturated because it is in the foreground and I want it to be more noticeable and more obvious that it's closer. So I'm just going to reinforce those lines again, going over it. All right, there's our house. I'm going to need to add some windows and doors and things. So here we go with the door. I'm going to have it sort of come this way here and maybe add a window here. There we go. And for this, I think I'm going to call that good for now. We might want to put more details later with the color of the house and everything, but I'm going to call that good for now. Maybe let it dry a bit. Then, what are we going to do next? We're going to have to fill in a lot of green for the grass areas. So choose a green that you made before. Probably make it a little bit lighter, so I'll mix it in with sort of this olivey green so that it looks a little bit more realistic. Okay, I'm going to get my brush wet since we're covering quite a lot of grounds here. For this area, I'm actually going to save that and make it more of a yellowy sort of hay color. And for the rest of it, I'm going to sort of just do a green wash. And I'm leaving some of this area next to the stream blank because I'm gonna maybe put some rocks there. I'm going to try to blend this a little bit as I'm going over it. Might work, it might not. I'm going to try our best. Okay, so there is some of our grass areas, and I'm going to do the same on this side here. Can definitely make this part a little bit darker since it's sort of in the foreground. I'm going to take some of that darker green that I made before, and I'm going to color it in. Again, leaving some space next to the stream so that I can put some rocks there later. And what I really like about Grandma Moses is that she mostly painted from memory. And so try, as you're painting, try to think back on, if you've ever driven or gone on a long road trip and you're looking outside the window and you're driving through some more rural neighborhoods or something like that, what did you see? And how are you going to create it again from memory? There's no right or wrong way to create something from your memory because it's how you see it, it's how you remember it. This is your experience. Okay, so we've got sort of most of the ground's covered now, but I'm going to again paint this part maybe more yellow. And I'm going to get some yellow here and maybe add it over here in this section. And I'm going to add it into this brown color. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to paint this part yellow. So it's summertime right now, and things are maybe a little bit slightly less green than they normally would be in the spring. And so things might be a little bit more golden, more yellow. And it's just because of the season. Doesn't mean it's any less beautiful. I think the goldenness that we see when we go hiking on the mountains, that gold is quite beautiful in its own right as well. Okay, so we got that. I'm going to try my best to cover that hill up with some thick paint here. Okay, there we go. So it's looking a little more interesting now that it's mostly filled up. But we've got to add a lot of details. So let's try drawing some trees in different spots of our painting. So again, I'm going to take some of this darker green and maybe add it to this part here. Okay, it's a nice dark green there. I'm going to add some trees to this area over here. And the way I'm going to do that is just putting these little hash marks. Okay, and again, it's kind of just ballparking the size of these trees and making an impression of where these trees are. Okay, then I'm going to add a little bit more maybe over here behind the house. Okay. Okay, then I'm going to add some more, maybe over here in this middle section. And I'm going to add some shorter ones next to it. Okay, then we need maybe some other types of trees. So I'm going to maybe get a lighter green color and mix it with a slightly darker green here. Okay, so that's kind of a more brighter green. I'm going to add some other types of trees. So I'm going to add sort of like a bush type of thing, maybe right here. When you're doing this bush, the edges are kind of ragged, and then maybe add another type of bush over here of a different size. I'm going to get some more of that color, and then I'm going to add some more trees. So I'm gonna block some of this stream here to add a tree that sort of looks like this. Okay, and we're gonna add some trunks later on, but I like to get all of the trees in first. So I'm going to add another one over here on this side, and this one's going to be a little bit more fat. Okay, so there we've got some trees, and at least half of the trees because we need some trunks. And maybe later on I might add some more bushes and stuff here. Maybe I'll do that right now. So let me add some bushes and things. Some shrubs. And it's nice to make them all different sizes. Okay, then I might add some, maybe a little more trees over here. And you can't really see them since that mountain in the background is really tall, or really dark, sorry, really dark. But we can add some highlights to that later to make it more visible. And then I may add some more shrubs and things over here. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's add some trunks. Okay, we're gonna need obviously brown. So here is my brown color. And that's the nice thing about these paints is that even weeks after you've used them on your palette, you can still get them wet again and you'll be able to get some paint from there instead of having to use more straight from the tube. So there is our brown color, and I'm going to add, those are bushes, so I'm not going to add anything to those. I'm going to add some tree trunks here. Over here. Okay, and that's good. All right. Actually, I'm going to go back and add some more bushes and shrubs over in this area here. So, add a little bit here, and a little bit there, and a little bit there. And it kind of brings that section sort of more together. Makes it a little more dynamic. All right. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some rocks to the edges of this stream. So I'm going to need sort of like a grayish color. I don't have gray, so I'm going to use black and white to make gray. So I'm going to put a little bit of black over here. I don't need too much, just a tiny bit. And I'm going to make sure that my brush is clean. It's not. So maybe my water is getting too dirty now. But there's remnants of green in it. So, okay, I think we're ready. So I'm going to take some of this white, I'm going to add it here and add a little bit of black to it. Perfect. Then I'm going to add a little bit of water to my brush, and I'm going to add some rocks. Now the colors of these rocks They're a little bit more dynamic than just, you know, straight gray, but we can always add highlights later on. For now, I'm just making sort of different shaped rocks along the edges here. And I'm gonna see how that looks. Oh, I realized I forgot to add trunks over here. They looked a lot like the shrubs, so I think I just ignored them, but I'm gonna have to go back and add those trunks. And some of these rocks are gonna be really big and others are not. And that looks okay. Okay, so going back to that brown color for our trunks that I forgot. Okay. Just gonna add that in. Add this as well. Okay. All right, so that is that so far. We're not done yet. I mean, you might look at your painting and think, oh, it's a masterpiece already. I can't add anything more to it, and that's totally fine. I'm gonna keep on going here. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make these shrubs and these trees a little bit more dynamic, so I'm gonna add some highlights to them. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to add some light green to this mix over here. Add a little bit of that brown. Make that olivey moss color again. And I'm going to add some highlights to the trees. And how I'm doing that is just literally making dots on it. There's a way, there's a better way, I'm sure, but my trees are kind of dried now, so I can't blend too much. I'm gonna add some over here. That's my neighbor's dog. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna add a little bit of highlights maybe on one side of the shrubs. Okay. It's a little bit more alive now. Okay. There we go. Then I'm going to make these rocks a little bit more dynamic as well by adding some shading and highlights to them. So I'm just putting a little bit of markings on each one there. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we have here. I'm to work on my house a bit, the house in the foreground. I want it to be a little bit more, to pop a little more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some maybe like red to the roof. I'm going to add some details there. Add some kind of little curved lines. Okay, then I'm going to add some color to the house. I can't decide what color I want. Maybe sort of like a grayish color mixed in with this pink, the original pink. And then just going to paint the side of it. All right. Okay. And then my house is in the background. I sort of want to paint them too, so I will take some of this red here and just fill it in a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, of course. Remember, you're just sort of making an impression of the scene, of everything that's in the scene. There. Okay. I might add a little bit of a fence over here or something like that. So maybe I'll get some of my white here and just sort of make a little fence. Okay, I'm going to add another wood panel to each one. And again, it does not have to be perfect at all. I'm using a lot of paint because I want it to show up. Okay, so there's a little fence there. Let's think. What else do we want to add here? Maybe some animals would be nice. Ooh, I sort of want to add a little boat in here. Okay, that one's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to get a boat in brown. I'm going to make sure that I have a lot of paint on my brush. Okay, I'm going to paint a tiny little boat, little canoe. Okay. have to put some people in it. So they're gonna have to be really tiny. Maybe I'll just put one person in it. It's a one-person kayak. So let's add the person. I'm gonna start using my new water. Okay. My new water. Okay, there we go. So there's our little boat there. I'm sort of nervous, if you can't tell, about adding this person in there. I'll start off by maybe painting the person's shirt or dress or whatever it might be. Let's see, what's going to show up on our blue? Probably either red or really light green or dark blue maybe. I'll try this red color here. Let's see how that turns out. Okay, so this person's going to be wearing a bright red shirt. They're going to be sitting in this canoe. Oh, it's so tiny. Okay. Little blotch of red there. And okay, drew their arm. Now I just have to draw their head. So I'm gonna take this brown color because it's kind of like a skin color almost. Yeah. Mix it in with a little bit of yellow there. Maybe mix it in with this pink here. Okay, so this is going to be their face. Okay. Wow. Oh, I'm still using my old water. Sorry about that. I'm just going to move my old water away from me. And I'm going to move this one over here. Okay. It's still wet, so I'm going to actually leave that for now. And let's draw some sheep. Let's draw some sheep. So I've got a bunch of white here. I'm going to add a little bit of gray into it. Perfect. Okay. Add some sheep over here. Oh, I need more paint. Wow. Okay. First I'm just going to add a bunch of little cloud looking things with my white paint. Okay, and then maybe I'll put a little bit more over here. They're going to be a little bit smaller over here. Sheep, they like to hang out together, so they're going to be just bunched around here. Okay. Not sure how to, okay, let's maybe add a little head to each one. A little bit of a head to each one. This one's maybe facing the other way. Okay. Add a little bit of legs and things. Maybe a tail. This is really fun. Just kind of painting from memory. It's a good exercise. How do you think a sheep looks? I don't know. Let me try painting one. Okay, so there are my sheep. Probably gonna have to add a little bit of black detail on there. While those dry, I'm gonna go back to my little person on the canoe, and I'm gonna add some details to that person. I'm gonna add a little bit of a hat. What color should their hat be? I'm thinking maybe this dark blue would be nice for a hat. Okay, maybe your hat is bright pink. That's cool too. Oh, I have too much water on my brush. Okay. Add a hat. There. Okay. What do you think this person is doing on this boat? I think they're fishing. So I'm gonna add a little fishing pole. Maybe with this black here. Black color. Okay. A little nervous, but here I go. Here I go. Okay, that didn't go the way that I planned it to go, but that's okay. We're just gonna keep going. Oh, it's a really thick fishing pole. Okay, well that's okay because then I'm gonna take my smaller brush, which I don't know why I haven't been using my smaller brush this whole time because of the details. So if you have a smaller brush, please use it. Okay, so I'm gonna get some black and add a little fishing line to the fishing pole there, so it looks like it's a lot thinner than the fishing pole. And then I'm going to add a little oar for the canoe. So I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to use my smaller brush now. And I'm going to use this brown color to make the paddle for the boat. Okay, perfect. So now, if you can see that, there's the little person. Okay, now I'm going to add some details to the sheep. Here we come. Okay, so how am I going to do this? I don't know. Actually, I'm not going to use black. I'm going to use gray to make the details so that it's not so stark of a contrast. It's a little bit more natural. My brush is too wet, so I'm going to add more paint to the brush. And I'm going to add some details like the ears and such. Just add little ears to the sheep. And it's totally okay if it's just a blur. Maybe add a little snout or something too while you're at it. Okay. Alright, so that's kind of as far as I'm going to go with the sheep, because I don't want to put too much detail on there because then it's not really going to match the rest of our painting. What else can I add here? I might add some more details to these trees because I forgot to do that earlier. So there we go, some more details there, and maybe a little more detail here, and detail there. All right, what else can we add here? I don't know. Maybe it needs one more thing, and I can't think of anything at the moment. What you can do is you can add some more highlights to the water. So maybe get some white, mix it in with that blue, that light blue again, and just sort of, oops, okay. Just sort of make it a little more water-like, adding these highlights to the stream and to the pond. Yeah, so do that. And then I might want to maybe add some crops and things to this area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, use some more green. Some more green there. And I'm going to add some rows of crops and things. So this is a farmhouse, and it's got lines and lines, rows and rows of, maybe this is like lettuce or something, lettuce heads coming out of the ground. And there you go. You can add more people if you want, but I'm going to call this finished. So what you can also add are some clouds in the sky. You can add more highlights on the mountains over here, but this is just to sort of get you started. You can make your sheep more interesting than I did. You can add some smiley faces to them. You can do an endless amount of possibilities with your painting. But remember, you don't have to be a perfectionist about it. You can just do impressions of each thing that's in your painting. So this is sort of an impression of a house, an impression of a tree, impression of a fisher person, impression of sheep over here. So it's really fun to just do things from memory and to not worry so much about proportions and getting everything perfect. So thank you so much for tuning in with me. This is my finished product, and I would love to see your finished product. So if you would like to share pictures of what you've made, please do so. I would love to see them. All right, until next time. Bye.